Nice.
We met. He was just ecstatic about home brewing, and I had some home brews under my belt, and I said, "Oh, well, you seem really excited about it." I'm just excited because you're so excited, and I think we should go forward with this.
Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C Certified Brewhead. Welcome to episode 150. That's a good one.
Holy shit.
I'm very nice to the pub. I know, right? I didn't tell you about
I feel
that.
honored.
I know, it's special. We are here in Colchester, Vermont. First time, we're at Green Empire with Uncles Dave and Evan, co-owners and brewers. Gentlemen, thank you for having us.
Pleasure.
Appreciate you
Hey,
guys.
nice to meet you finally.
Likewise. It's fucking dope to be here. Place is dope. We haven't been to Colchester before. It's the only brewery in the city. Is that accurate?
That's correct. We're the only one in Colchester.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we feel
Owning
honored.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. So we're in town for we're doing a campaign with the high season stuff, but of course we haven't been to Vermont since March, which is unacceptable. And I'd like to apologize to the state of Vermont for not visiting since then. But we're finally back, so I'm glad we get to finally kick it. We were talking earlier ahead of you guys through Mark at Stowe Cider. I think it was episode 70 or 80 something. He had your chill session in a growler that he busted out for the podcast. I've been following you guys since. That was like maybe a year and a half ago, something like that.
Yep.
Remember, it was cold. So it was great to finally meet you guys. I'm excited to try some stuff. So let's get into this bad boy, and then we'll...
So we got the side business here. This is our flagship, our most produced one, and we've been canning it a little over a year, and people can't get enough of it. We can't make enough. And
I love it.
When you bring some home, this is how it'll sound, too. Sound of freedom.
Perfect. Side business, does that name have any particular...
Yeah, so this is a side business for the both of us. We both have other careers, and so this is, we're hoping to make this our,
full-time?
main business. But for now, it's just still a side business. So,
how long have you guys been open?
about a year and a half legally.
Year and a half?
Yeah,
Legal.
And
you only did it legally, though.
We only abide by the rules.
Absolutely. This is what happens here at Green Empire. We take the rules very, very seriously. Cheers, boys. Pleasure to meet you. Cheers.
Well, if you picture the space, up to that heater over there,
Nice.
we had just this room, and this is actually where we were home brewing. And
Right.
we were just doing it in old recycled kegs, 10 to 15 gallons at a time. And we had a little wall of conicals, and or not conicals, carboys, and that's how we started here. And then finally we just started looking around, and we're like, man, we can fit 10 barrel tanks in here. So
Right, kept the space.
Might
That's
as
pretty
well.
good. You have dedicated home brewing space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Well,
love that.
he lived in an apartment, and we both lived in condos and apartments. So in the wintertime, we couldn't do it outside anymore. So we was a little out of necessity, and the rent was cheap, and it was a good place to do it. And
Yeah, we'd be running a hose from my second floor apartment down to the parking lot, and we'd be brewing.
That's amazing.
In the parking lot, flooding it with the wastewater.
so we've had this space since
got to be a much.
December 1st, 2015, I think, is when we got this space.
Yeah.
You guys aren't messing around. So this is 7%. The side business drink. Pop in here so you can see it. What's the hops in this one?
So it's Columbus bittering, and then Citra and Mosaic.
Columbus, Citra, Mosaic, and take the notes while we're discussing. 7% Columbus, Citra, Mosaic. And I guess, of course, it's hazy. We're in Vermont.
Yep.
That's exactly how it goes down. Did you use any oats or anything like that in this one? It's super.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta use oats.
Kidding me?
Always use notes.
Always.
And on the nose, I get a bit of grapefruit and more fruit forward,
Yes.
of course. I
Little
got
tropical.
a little pine finish,
Mhm.
slight pine, not over the top. And
Yeah, it's like some mild, kind of little dank, which I like.
Definitely. I think that's
Yeah.
probably the result of the mosaic, if anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know Mosaic really caused the dankness. I never really thought about that. I guess.
Yeah, you get it from the Simcoe as well, and some of our
Definitely.
other beers.
Okay. This is solid. I'm not surprised this one
And
is...
we don't mind telling you what the hops are in this. Is there other brewers that don't tell you the hops?
No, I've never had that before. Everyone's been pretty open with
We had someone recently,
They
we were
don't know.
asking them what hops
Oh,
put
they
in.
just don't know what the hell it is. It's more they don't know than not telling. Did you remember?
They know.
Yeah? You think they know? They don't want to tell you?
They know.
That's kind of weird, though.
How are you going to put hops in the tank if you don't know what it is?
I don't know what they say sometimes. No, that's a
It was a credible source that we asked.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was a credible source.
They wouldn't tell us what was in their beer?
Wouldn't tell us as brewers to another brewer.
Oh, wouldn't tell you what was in it.
Yeah, wouldn't tell us.
Do you know what the difference is? I'm no threat to them. I'm promoting them. So people might tell me, and I'm asking not even for the viewers or listeners, I'm asking just for my review, to be honest. It's super selfish reasons. And I'm curious because I want to know, like, which hops make different flavors and, you know, what they've done. It gives me a bit of a picture in my head, but I can understand if it might come across like trying to tap their...
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. How many like hop combos can there really be? It's really not that serious.
Well, not only that, like for us as a small brewery, we go through a lot of effort to get access to hop, like the freshest crop of Mosaic and Citra. And, you know, I love being able to say that we're using that because, you know, I see a lot of new brewery startups that are using 2015, 2016 Mosaic crops. And luckily we have the ability to use fresh crop on all of our hops because we tirelessly work to make that happen. So, you know, I love being able to say, hey, yeah, this has Citra Mosaic and they're as fresh as they are available, you know. So
that's dope. How do you guys do that? Like, is it through contracting or you have to say?
No, it is contracting, yeah. But
just make sure you
some of the contracts I've created were through my other career on eBay, and we started when we were homebrewing here. We were buying all our hops from eBay in small amounts, and then in a pinch, we couldn't get any Mosaic, you know, nor any Citra, so we reached out to this guy, and he made it happen.
Nice.
You know, out in Oregon, so, you know,
turns out he's got a commercial program for
and then that's how he made his living. He makes a decent amount on eBay, but he turns all these, basement brewers, and when they become pro, he starts contracting them hops, so.
That is genius.
Yeah.
And like hooking people up and helping them grow.
Yeah.
I love that. So speaking of that, so how did you guys individually get into beer, and how did that lead to this glorious establishment?
Let's see, I guess it all started back in Plattsburgh, New York, and we were just brewing on the porch. And
that's where you guys are from?
I went to college there. Yeah, Dave's.
My parents have a house right outside of Plattsburgh, about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We'd actually met at a Brewers Fest. We met at a huh?
Can you sell me one of them hats?
Hey, we're in Middlesex.
Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good, man. Oh, Jesus.
He's a big supporter of the chill session.
Yeah, he's a big supporter of the
It's a
children.
great beer. It's a great
He
beer.
comes up the other day in the middle of the door, and he yells this and this only. Chill session. Yeah! That's all he yelled.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, cool, man. Thanks.
Hey,
Well, anyway, we were, his wife now, I went to college with in Plattsburgh. And,
right.
Yeah, so that's how I met Dave, and because my girlfriend and his wife were, roommates. So
Nice.
we met. He was just ecstatic about home brewing, and I had some home brews under my belt, and I said, oh, well, you seem really excited about it. I'm just excited because you're so excited, and I think we should go forward with this. So, we got some equipment, started brewing on the porch, and then we said,
And it was like the next week. Like, it wasn't like months. It was like, and I lived in Burlington at the time, so I would like drive an hour and a half to his house in Plattsburgh. We would just brew on his porch.
start brewing, and then we're like, it's
Sick.
decent. Then we got some more equipment, got more hops on eBay, and just kept cranking it out, and then more equipment. And then eventually I moved over here, and then the rest is history.
Then those were the days of running the hose out the window
Right.
and then that same winter. So this was probably about, I'd say, 6 months or so into us even knowing each other. We started running the space. He found it on Craigslist.
Right.
It was a guy who was making parts for NASA in here. He lived right above in the apartment above.
Right.
And machine shop here.
Okay. So you were just renting it out, and you were like, well, I'm tired of dealing with not being able to brew in the winter.
Yeah, we didn't have it anywhere.
So I guess because homebrewing is pretty messy, you need a bunch of space. We do it in apartments. It's a nightmare.
We were flooding his parking lot.
Yeah. So we had
The name
a
is
few
really-
propane burners, and
Right.
a series of fridges, and
Like kegerators and all that stuff.
yeah.
Do you have parties
I
and
think
stuff?
we had 6 refrigerators in one.
It was
space,
pretty. So where this walk-in is, there was a bar that he made out of just wood himself, and we had a bar. We had some We had, I think, a wooden cask back there too, like 6 lines of taps. Just
Nice.
So anything, we would just have our friends come by and we would just sample
kinda
it
like a
here.
hangout
And
spot.
we would do a couple
Yeah.
like homebrew events too through the Full Barrel Co-op here in Burlington, and
Nice.
we would just bring like 15 gallons of beer and pour through it just in a couple of hours. And
Jeez.
So it was quality assurance, and then eventually people were like, "Wow, this is
It's
is
really
good.
good stuff, yeah.
I like it. It's good. Can I, can we get some of this?" And so we said, "Okay, let's do it. Let's take it to the next level."
Right. And what did that require?
So we were very naive to how much it would cost and how long it would take, and
Right.
it took about a year, maybe
Okay.
a little more than a year
To go from homebrew to pro.
Yeah,
Okay.
and maybe a year and a half, and knowing what we know now, we'd probably do it in 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
If we push, but squeaky wheel gets the grease at the end of the day, so
That's it.
what we learned, and it was a lot. It took a lot out of us, but just getting the equipment in was easy. Paying for it was,
Not so much.
yeah, it wasn't that hard. Just getting the licensing and being able to legally brew here was the challenge.
That's the main thing.
The
Yeah.
wastewater allocation, sewer allocation. The state piece of paper that says, "Hey, you can brew here. You're a manufacturer."
Gotcha.
That was the last part, but we had to get everything else in order with the feds.
Mm.
The wastewater and
Probably
all
we
the
were
stuff
the most
in town.
naive and didn't even realize it at the time was when we had we finally got our license in and we started brewing like 1 or 2 test batches. We didn't have any kegs. We didn't have anything to put it in. So we brewed into Cara over there, and
Right.
it was a 2-barrel batch of a beer that we called First Ones for the Homies, and we knew it was going to be a learning curve pale ale,
Yeah.
And so we ended up putting it in like old soda kegs because we didn't have anything to put it
the
in.
Cornelius.
Yeah, the
Ones,
corny
yeah,
keg,
kegs, yeah.
And then we kind of realized after that, so, okay, now we made this many kegs just from brewing that. Like, what about when we like actually fill everything? What are we going to do with all that beer?
Right.
Yeah.
And luckily, we had the Vermont beer shepherds come by, and they sampled a beer right off the tank, which happened to be the first commercial iteration of Chill Session, and just on a handshake started.
Yeah, that was it. He got the dank on the nose and put out his hand, and that was it. you
And
know?
so for people who don't know, the VT
So
beer
Vermont
shepherds-
Beer Shepherd, distributor here in Vermont, and they own a fleet of kegs, and then they drop the kegs off. We clean them, fill them up, and then they pick them up and distribute them throughout the state.
But
of
they're
Vermont. So-
amazing.
They're a
Yeah.
mom and pop organization, and very brewer. They're very supportive of the brewers, and they bring a lot of great beer in from outside the state of Vermont. They work with Lawson's, Four Quarters. I think they were working with Ben Hill for a bit too.
Nice. Mike is the man.
But they're absolutely amazing people. They've done well by us, and I'm so happy it worked out the way it did because I don't know how we would. We didn't even realize at the time that we would have had to get a whole nother distributor's license because in Vermont you can't technically self-distribute.
So, and you got to
Okay.
pay tax twice.
Jeez.
So-
So they don't make it easy for that.
No.
So then
and
when
it's a waiting process too. It could take you up to 6 months and
To
the
get
background
approved?
check.
So that would have been
all that
another
stuff.
layer of waiting that
Yeah.
we didn't even
just
anticipate.
wasting
at the
money.
time.
Yeah.
When did you start canning then?
It was May of 2018, right?
Yep. So,
May.
A little over a year and a
Yeah.
quarter.
so, so I guess our first beer went out in kegs August of 2017, and then May of 2018 was our first canning of side business.
Okay. And that was because you had the distro deal, so it was like, well, clearly cans are going to be pretty effective as well.
Yeah.
Like, did they ask you for cans, or was it kind of something you wanted to do?
Both. I mean, at the time, we were just distributing everything in kegs, and for being a brewery that's not open to the public, it's pretty hard to get your name out there when someone's only way of finding you is just to happen to be at a restaurant that has your keg on
That's
tap.
true.
And we did get a little traction that way, but it's definitely been noticeable how much more our beer's gotten out there now that it's available in cans. Like I see every day, we see pictures from across the country, different countries, people just traveling with our beer, whereas before that just wasn't even a
Or
possibility.
even, at the Vermont Brewers Fest, this guy came up to us and he's like, "People are talking about you," And I said, "Oh, where are you from?" "Los Angeles." He says, like, "I was hanging out at Monkish and people are talking about you," And I was
Hey.
like, "Holy shit,"
That's crazy.
So I was like, "Oh, yeah, dude,"
But I mean, it really shows how cans have that ability. Yeah, they just
That's very cool. How's that feel for you guys? Like to know that you're being talked about on the other side of the country, which means people are either muling or proactively trading your stuff, being like, "Yo, this is send me Monkish, I'll send you Green Empire." I mean, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it feels great. You know, I'd love to be a part of it. You know.
Oh, it's amazing. It's interesting that Vermont is my personal favorite place in the continent.
Yeah.
Best place for beer. It's very tough. There's some great places, but I feel like it definitely holds a lot of weight. Anywhere you go, you trade me Vermont beer, hell yeah. Like anybody wants. Even when I went to Australia earlier this year, I brought them some stuff from here, and like they lost their minds because there's something that doesn't make it out there too much. So I can.
Sure.
There's definitely like a I was gonna say stigma is not the right word, but the rep is so strong.
Yeah.
So you're in a great place already, and if your beer wasn't fire, you wouldn't be spoken. Like you wouldn't last.
Yeah.
So it really speaks. I think if you're gonna last in Vermont, more than most places, if your shit isn't really good, like it's not gonna.
There's always room for good beer, you know, in the saturated market.
Yeah, we get asked that all the time. People are like, you know, what's it like being in a market where there's just so much beer? And it's like, well, comparatively, there's really not in the sense when you look at like Colorado. I mean, it's just Vermont's a small state, so it seems like a lot. But, you know, so many people come here for beer and beer alone that, you know, if you make good beer, there's going to be a place for you regardless of, you know, how many beers there are out there. And, like, for me, like, when I go somewhere with my wife and we take a trip, you know, I'm not going to buy less beer because there's more beer out there. I'm just going to buy more beer of what I want to buy because it's available and I can't get it on a regular basis. So.
Right. And I guess it's now put you guys, like you said, because of the cans. Like I saw you guys yesterday at the city market, and I was like, because I hadn't seen the cans before, and it really stood out to me because it's like you've got this like shimmery thing going on there, which really stood out. And it had
the
metallic, I guess is really what it is. Like the consistency of the triangle. You can totally crack. Is this Leo?
Leo, the next one.
Yes, we got to tell the story.
For my son, there he is.
Yes.
And he's had a few heart surgeries, so we got pictures of his heart on here from the echo and a little heartbeat we got in Boston when he had the open heart, and some September astrology when he was born, a little Eye of the Tiger since he's a fighter, and some more astrology stuff. And
Dave had a pretty cool idea. So this is a beer that you brew for him. This is the first sort of one, essentially.
First one.
First one, and Dave had actually a pretty damn cool idea.
So on the can, we have his
photo.
son's picture on there, and we were just thinking, you know, it'd be cool to every year, you know, swap the picture out and just like as he grows, you know, give it to him as like maybe when he goes to college, you could send him with a case of beer to be the most popular kid in college.
Right, just get one of each face.
It's like, this beer is great, and it has my face on it.
I think he was 2 here, so at his 3rd birthday party, we'll update it.
Yeah.
And then, 4, we'll update it.
And because the rest of it stays the same, like as far as like artwork is concerned.
Yeah. It's just a picture.
Me and Evan have always kind of been that way a little bit, though. We have had our few beers that we've liked brewing at certain times of the year. Like we just did one for my wedding that I've been talking about. Now I could kind of redo it on all the anniversaries and, maybe
special events and stuff.
Right. First of all, cheers,
guys. Hold it.
Cheers. Oh, you know the drill.
Well,
dude, thank you.
Guess Evan left at a pretty good time.
Yeah, Evan. We were like right at the very end. That's why he was like.
Oh, that's funny.
It was cool. Where can we find you guys online? So where can people find Green Empire?
Yeah, so right now our website is kind of under construction. We're rebuilding it for our launch of our retail hours,
Nice.
but it's gebrew.com. We also, our biggest two are just Facebook and Instagram. We really like Instagram, so usually we do most of our communication through that. Just Green Empire Brewing.
Perfect.
On Instagram. So
Nice. So people can check up on that. By the time they see this episode, it'll probably be a couple weeks out until the retail hours start. So definitely keep.
yeah, we're
an eye
shooting
on
for
the
a Labor Day launch of that.
Perfect.
So we'll have a fresh round of cans for that, and also some beers and kegs that will not be available otherwise. So
Nice. It's going to be something special worth coming down for.
yeah, so that's kind of the goal, is to bring people down and just allow people the opportunity to buy from the source.
Right,
So,
which is part of the experience. I meet you guys and hear about the beer and stuff like that,
absolutely.
which is great. So if you guys are in Vermont, make sure you come by the store once it opens, but also look out for the beers in the store. You see them. They're very attractive. You can't miss them. It's got a triangle on it. It's bright. It's metallic, it's sexy. It caught my eye before we'd even spoken, so that's super dope, man. So thank you again. Really appreciate it, bro. The man.
Appreciate it.
Guys, if you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up. Hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell so you know when the new stuff drops. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast. Check out the long form audio so you can hear extraordinarily attractive gentlemen like Uncle Dave right here talk about beer in Vermont. That is it, guys. Thank you for watching and listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.